Hey everybody, well it's January 9th, 2012 and decided to bring you a little more information, a little more update on the project Ford Escort ZX2. So on the last two videos I tried to start this car, see if it would do anything, and failed both times. In the first attempt it wouldn't start because we weren't getting any fuel to the fuel rail. I couldn't hear the fuel pump engaging, doing anything there, so the car wouldn't start. Second attempt, second video, car also wouldn't start. I went and bought the starting fluid, figuring, well, if we're not getting any fuel from the regular fuel source to the engine, if I put starting fluid directly through the intake, through the air inlet, that if it's going to do anything, it'd start and run on that, or it'd do something, make some kind of action. And it failed to do anything. No spark. And the way I determined there was no spark is use my little, this is really a handy tool if you don't already have one, and basically it takes place of the old style of, you got to check for spark. You pull a spark plug wire, pull a plug the plug into the wire, ground it up against something metal, then have somebody crank the engine and see if you're getting that little spark. Well, this takes the place of all that. Basically a modified spark plug wire with a light fixture. Excuse me, still fighting a cold here. It's got a light fixture on it. So you'd plug this end into your spark plug and this end into your spark plug wire, and then you crank it over, and if you're getting power going through your ignition system, this little light bulb in here would flash. Well, this wasn't doing anything, so we weren't getting any spark or fuel, and that suggested to me that there was a problem endemic to both systems. So when I had some more time, I came back and we started checking out the fuses. That's where you always want to check, is the most obvious. And what we come across was, this is the fuse block cover off of my 99 Escort ZX2, but it's the same car, same configuration. And if you look right here, that's a 15 amp engine fuse. And that's crucial to both the ignition and fuel systems, apparently, despite the fact that you've got, well, fuses for, individual, the ignition and individual, the fuel system. This apparently is integrated to the two. And this, along with this and this fuse, was missing. So I pulled the spare fuse out of the side here on my 99, same amperage, 15 amp, stuck it in there, turned the key, and as soon as I did so, I had the fuel pump engaging, and it was pressurizing some fuel to the fuel rail. So I'm pretty sure we've got spark back now. So what I decided to do was I cranked it over for a split second, and it acted like it was going to do something. But before I actually made an attempt to start, and I've actually got the car hooked up to my pickup right now, using my jumper cables to bring the battery up and charge, because it's super duper duper low. Anyway, I wanted to do a compression test on it before I actually made a third attempt. So I broke out the compression tester, and also another wonderful tool, and did a compression check. So here's what we got here. There's our cylinders, 1, 2, 3, 4, closest to the timing belt, front of the engine, closest to the transaxle, back of the engine. And here's what we got. 130 psi, good solid 130 in cylinder 1. A little lower, 120 psi in cylinder 2. That was 120 on the mark. Cylinder number 3, about 100 to 110, kind of iffy in between the two. I ran each test twice, so I'd crank it, check the pressure, purge the pressure, give it a few seconds to charge again, crank it again, and just kind of balance out the variance between the two. And so this varied between 100 psi and 110 psi in cylinder 3, and then in cylinder 4, 130, 135, more on the 135 side. So we've got a constant decrease in pressure, starting at 130 and then 120 and then about 110 and then back up to about 130, 135. So if there's anything, these cylinders are kind of weak, but it's a problem with living with semis going by the house all the time. These are a little weaker than the out 2, but I don't think it's enough to affect anything. So that's what our compression looks like. So we've done our compression test. We've done our well, I haven't done spark check to see, if we're getting spark. I did check the spark plugs. They, aside from the fact that one of the seals on the valve cover on the number 1 cylinder was letting oil on the spark plug, the spark plugs didn't look terrible. They could probably use a good changing. I know the wire's good. So we're going to make another attempt momentarily to try to start it, and we're going to see if it's going to do anything, really. Done a compression test. We're getting fuel to it, so we're going to make another attempt here. And if nothing becomes of this, well, we'll try to make another run at it. Maybe check the timing, see if the timing might be a little off, which I got to do a little bit of research and see what the timing, what you got to do to check the timing on this. But I think we got it on a charge. It's been charging for a good 15-20 minutes now. So the first thing we want to do is make sure we're still getting fuel to the fuel rail. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so we want to see if we're getting any fuel to the fuel rail, make sure of that. Can't go by the gauge. I don't know if that's accurate or not. I seriously doubt it, but let's see if the fuel pump's still working. Yeah, I can hear the fuel pump coming on. That's twice I've turned the key. There's 3, so I think I heard the fuel pump come on. Let's check our fuel rail at the Schrader valve and see if we're getting any fuel pressure to there. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so we've got fuel at the Schrader valve. So now we're going to see if we could start the car, see what it does, if anything. Okay, so here we are at our 3rd attempt. We're not going to touch the accelerator. Prime the fuel rail. We'll give it another prime just to make sure. Clutch in, and this is our 3rd attempt at a cold start, old start. There we go. It's running. It is running, folks. Here's my neighbor here. And we're not getting any smoke out of the tailpipe. Well, yeah, we are a little. I don't know if that's smoke or steam. But it is running. Turn this truck off so we can hear the car. Well, there it is, folks. It's running. All I had to do was replace a few fuses and clean the spark plugs. Did a compression check. Now we still gotta see about the coolant system here. So we can't let this run too awful long. So before we get it too warm, folks, I'm going to shut it down, and I'm going to get some water in here to top off the radiator and see what happens. But it's running. Still no smoke out of the tailpipe. So we'll get some water in the system, make another video, and thanks for watching.